Do you find your students drifting off in the middle of lessons? Do you sometimes find that children's behaviour drops as the lesson goes on? Then I have got the perfect video for you. It's all about how to gain children's attentions in the classroom. Hello, what's up guys? I'm Ben Cooper from Waggle Teaching, and today I'm going to talk to you about student engagement in the classroom and catching children's attention. In the 21st century, where children have iPads and devices at their fingertips, we find ourselves as teachers competing against children that have content and information at their fingertips. And children are increasingly becoming less patient in terms of engagement. If they're looking at something on their phone or on an iPad or on television and are not immediately engaged, more often than not they will flick through that. And so as teachers, it's increasingly difficult to hook children into lessons when we're competing against digital technology that offers instant engagement for our children. However, if we flip that over and actually utilise digital content and think about the type of engagement that children are participating in, we can enhance our teaching learning and make our lessons just as competitive in terms of engagement. That's going to lead to children engaging better in the lessons and the learning that's taking place. So gaining children's attention can be looked at in three different levels. It's gaining their immediate attention, their short-term attention, and finally their long-term attention. And today I'm going to break those three down. I'm going to talk about what those three mean and how that can impact on the delivery of your lessons in your classrooms. So I talked about immediate engagement, short-term engagement, and then long-term engagement. And for children to be really inspired and be driven at school, it's important that children travel through all of those different levels, starting off with immediate engagement, but leading all the way through to long-term engagement. So the first type of student engagement is that immediate. Now, immediate engagement is all about the senses. It's all about children being hooked to the things that they can see, smell, hear, and touch. That leads to children being instantly or immediately engaging in something. To put that in a real life context, if you're walking down the street and you suddenly hear a peculiar noise, you've instantly been engaged with something in the real world. In the same way, if you see something that's a bit unusual or something happening, you are immediately engaged on that subject. Whether you choose to continue to watch or continue to listen to something all depends on them moving to the short term. So immediate engagement is all about that instant hook, the thing that grabs your attention. And so in the classroom, it's really important for a child to engage into a lesson or a piece of learning. We've got to engage them immediately with some form of senses. Visual engagement can include things like videos or dramas, or just you as a teacher being very animated in front of a class. Sounds can also be linked to videos or listening to something that's a bit unusual, but also children engaging things that are tactile. To gain children's immediate attention, let them touch things, let them play with things, and let them be kinesthetic learners and practical learners straight away at the beginning of your lessons. And that way, you're going to gain their immediate attention. Okay, the second phase of gaining children's attention is the short term. Short-term attention is really when people engage in particular activities. So playing a game of football or reading an article in a newspaper. And it's really about the novelty of something. And so to gain short-term attention, it's all about giving them something new that's a little bit different. So the reason why we read a news article is because it's a new article. It's about something that's current and relevant for us. In the same way that if we're engaged in a football game, it's a new game, it's a new team, it's a new experience for us. And listening to a new song, we listen to it because it's new, it's different, and we've never potentially heard it before, or we've not heard it that many times. And so we engage with those things for the short term. What this looks like in the classroom is it's all about making our activities that we're trying to engage with unique. So make sure the content is always relevant, new, and engaging. It's not about doing different activities all the time, but it's putting twists on that activity so it's new content that the children are learning with, which motivates them to succeed. It also links to your lessons Basically, one lesson is gaining a child's short-term attention, a focus on what they need to do during that lesson. In the same way that if we're watching an episode on television, we'll watch the first episode. If we don't enjoy the episode and we don't understand it or it doesn't work, we're more likely to not engage with the rest of the series. However, if we enjoy the episode and we enjoy the storyline and we engage with it, we're much more likely to persist and move on to a long-term engagement and watch the rest of the series. That's exactly the same within our teaching. If we make sure that the first lesson they engage with is exciting, current and relevant, then they're more likely to engage with the entire topic and unit. If that first lesson isn't engaging and doesn't hook the children in, they're much less likely to look forward to the remaining lessons within your unit of learning. And then of course the final form of engagement is long-term engagement. In the real world, that's all about a love for something in the long term, a passion for something. So for example, we may have played a football game, but do we enjoy playing do we enjoy football as a sport, and do we want to play it regularly? Yes, one game may have been fun, but if you're really not engaged with it, you're not likely to join a team, and also you're not likely to follow your favourite football team on television. And likewise with celebrities, you may listen to one song that you really like, however it's then about making sure as a pop star that you're engaging that person for the long term. You want them to buy the albums, you want them to go and see them live, you want to follow them on social media, so it's about making sure that short-term engagement hooks the person in enough to make sure that that then transitions into a long-term engagement. So long-term engagement is about developing a long-term passion for something. And in the classroom, that's really all about planning purposeful topics that are engaging and also have an end product. And I've talked about this before in our learning journey, where the idea is that children always have to have a purpose at the end. What is the reason for the learning? What's the reason for that short-term engagement? Yes, they're doing one lesson, but what will be the outcome 10 lessons time? Are they going to create something? Are they going to do something that's exciting, that's going to motivate them all the way through and develop that long-term engagement? Purpose is the key word, making sure that learning has a purpose. What is the relevance? Why is it used in real life? And how is it going to excite the children to use that skill later in the unit? Novelty is another key word, something that's a bit unique. In every year group in primary school, there's lots of different topics that engage the children in new cultures, in new environments, and in new ways. And so the novelty element has to be played upon as much as possible, that this is something new, it's something different, and it's exciting. The more you stress how novel something is or how unique something is, the more likely the children are going to engage with it, because they like to learn about new things that are interesting that they may have never experienced before. The more you play on that they're doing things that they've never done before, the more likely they are to engage with your learning. And at the end of the day, the more likely they are to achieve and be successful within those lessons. So that's my video on student engagement, and what's really important to stress is the children have to travel through each of those levels. They have to be immediately engaged with something that hooks them using their senses. They then have to move to the short term, where they're doing things that are unique, activities that feel new and are challenging them in different ways, and that will then lead them to engaging for the long term, wanting to complete units of learning, wanting to learn more about something. And you never know, that might even lead to the child developing an interest for life. And ultimately, it's going to make your life in the classroom far easier. Behaviour problems will drop if all the children are engaged, learning will increase, and so that will ultimately lead to better outcomes for your children. So I hope this video has been useful. Please comment with any thoughts and ideas in our YouTube comment box below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more teaching videos. I'm Ben from Why Got Teaching. Have a really great day.